As I changed my calendar to the month of May, I filled out the days with my personal agenda. My time is filled with celebrations like Mother's Day, Derby Day, birthdays, and my graduation. I noticed little words at the bottom of May 5th that read Cinco de Mayo. Now, I had heard of this before and I recognized it was some kind of Spanish, but didn't know exactly what it meant. I became intrigued, and after research, I realized that this Mexican holiday was very interesting. And since my favorite food happens to be Mexican food, it gave me a great excuse to celebrate the 154th Cinco de Mayo with the chicken fajita. So, during today's speech, I would like to start by explaining the history behind Cinco de Mayo. Next, identify the different places it is celebrated. And finally, describe some traditions that are connected with Cinco de Mayo. Let's start from the very beginning of how Cinco de Mayo even came about. Cinco de Mayo was first celebrated because of the Battle of Puebla. Let me give you some history. Mexico began its independence from Spain on September 16, 1810, and achieved its goal by 1821. Many people falsely believe that Cinco de Mayo is Mexico's Independence Day. However, it's something totally different. According to America's Growing Observance of Cinco de Mayo, Journal of American Culture, after Mexican independence, it struggled with internal issues for decades. For example, the War of Reform began in the 1850s. The Mexican-American War began in the 1940s, and it struggled with poverty all within the country. Mexico was forced to reach out for help by foreign financial assistance from England, Spain, and France. However, once it started borrowing money, Mexico realized that it couldn't pay back its debt. This did not sit well. Mexico's president, Benito Juarez, announced in July 1861 that he had suspended payments on English, French, and Spanish debts for at least 2 years in order to direct more resources toward domestic problems. The 3 European alliances sent shiploads of soldiers to Veracruz, Mexico. England and Spain were able to talk it out with Mexico and come to an agreement. However, France was being ran by the Emperor Napoleon III, and he was wanting to expand his empire and had his eyes set on Mexico. Mexico's debt to France gave him a perfect excuse to go to war. French troops reached Puebla, but was defeated by Mexican troops on May 5th. Very unlikely. A year later, France returned to Puebla and was victorious. However, Mexico tends to forget that and celebrates the unexpected win they had on May 5th, 1862. Next, we'll identify places Cinco de Mayo is celebrated. Oddly enough, the holiday is not celebrated nearly as much in Mexico as it is in the United States. In Mexico, the celebration of Cinco de Mayo is concentrated mostly just in Mexico City and the city of Puebla where the battle took place. The United States actually celebrates Cinco de Mayo way more than Mexico and has commercialized it so much that not just Latinos rejoice on May 5th. It gives all nationalities within the U.S. an excuse to party. You might be wondering how we actually celebrate Cinco de Mayo. So finally, let me explain some activities that coincide with the holiday. There are many traditions that go along with Cinco de Mayo. Throughout time, different generations of Hispanics have shaped how we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. The article, El Cinco de Mayo, an American Tradition, says that in the 1920s to 1930s, first-generation Latinos gave speeches at Cinco de Mayo events about Mexico's stand against the strong European power and focused mostly on celebrating the history. As time has gone on, 21st century Hispanics host multiple festivals celebrating Latino heritage and focus mostly on educating people about their culture. In honor of Cinco de Mayo, different parts of the United States host several different events. For example, in Fresno, California, there's a 5K called Olé 5K with mariachi bands lining the street cheering on the participants. Afterwards, the community has tacos, churros, and Mexican beer. According to Cinco de Mayo Not For Sale, other areas such as, but not limited to, Cleveland, Portland, and New York, they also have festivals that include taco eating contests, live music, and lots of partying. As you can see, Cinco de Mayo is a fun holiday with a lot of history. In conclusion, Cinco de Mayo is an exciting way to celebrate the historic Battle of Puebla. Although it is scarcely celebrated in Mexico, the United States has practically turned it into a Spanish St. Patrick's Day. Today, we've explained the history behind Cinco de Mayo, identified the different places it is celebrated, and finally described how many people celebrate the holiday. I really hope you've learned something about Cinco de Mayo today and can now join the many other people who celebrate this enjoyable 5th day of May. Thank you.